Welcome, everyone. Great to see all of you. Thank you for joining us for the kickoff for the Summer of CS, part of our Seasons of CS for the state of California. And we would love for you to begin by introducing yourself using the Q&A feature and let us know. We're thinking about growth and about seasons, and so we'd love to hear what your favorite season is and why. So take a couple of moments to do that, if you will. What is your favorite season and why? I see some answers that are coming in. Thank you for all that input. That's excellent. Great for us to be able to share a bit about our preferences during the year. Awesome. Thank you for your participation. We appreciate you. And answers are still coming in. I love it. Excellent. All right, so we're going to move forward. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Catherine Goyette, and I am your host for this kickoff today. I am the currently the computer science coordinator for California's Department of Education. We also are going to have the opportunity to hear from a keynote speaker right here from California, Ed Campos Jr., who is a consultant for Kings County Office of Education, is with us today. And he's going to be talking about how in our Seasons of CS, we are getting ready for a super bloom. So we're going to be talking a lot about growth of computer science education in California, how you have a part of that, and how excited we are that you are now on this team with us, moving forward for the sake of all of our students. We'd like to take a couple of minutes first to honor the ancestral stewards of the lands of California. We are in a glorious state, has so much diversity of geography and of peoples, and we are so glad to celebrate that. So what I'd like you to do is take a moment to visit native-land.ca to identify the indigenous peoples who cared for the traditional territory where you currently sit. Because we are representing and serving the entire state of California and working together, we want to take the time to acknowledge these indigenous peoples. So take a couple of minutes to go to that website. If you would like to, once you have found out the indigenous peoples who are in the territory you are currently sitting in, you may add that into the question and answer portion of the webinar. All right, let's go ahead and move forward to celebrate and thank our partners in this work. CS4CA, you can visit them at cs4ca.org, is partnering in this work, as well as UCLA Center X for Transforming Public Schools, the CDE Foundation, California Department of Education, and several county offices of education as well. So these are our official partners, but truly we believe that all of you are partners in this work also, as are all of our students. So thank you to all of you, as well as those who have made this possible. We're going to now move to a mindfulness activity so that we can all experience a little bit of computer science that has the theme of Super Bloom, which Ed Campos will be talking about soon. So I would like to introduce Art Lopez. He is a project manager for Coding Our Future, for UC San Diego. He also is the 912 representative for the board of directors for CSTA, and he was the CSTA past president of the San Diego chapter. And also, Art was on, I knew Art as a member of the Standards Advisory Committee when we, in 2018, when we were working on California's computer science standards. So Art, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and bring you on so that you can do some mindfulness and art with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I'm going to ask Kat, can you please drop in the link for this, or do you need me to do that?
Let's see here. Let me pull it up.
Because I think I could do it.
If someone else could quickly, that would be.
I just did it.
You got it.
All right. Well,
Thank you,
everybody. Oh, of course, Kat. Well, I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be a warm-up activity for everyone. I'm so excited you're here. I just want to let you know that I am a lead learner. I do not have a computer science background. I have been teaching computer science for a while now, but when I started this work, I realized how important it is for my kids to learn about this. So I just dove in and didn't worry that I didn't have a background in it. I just went for it, and it turned out to be such a great thing because my kids loved it, and they were always willing to help me out, and that we were always willing to learn together. And I hope that we can go ahead and foster that with all of you here today. So my good friend Dr. Emily Tomford created this program for us called CS Super Bloom with a programming language called P5JS. It's just JavaScript. If you open it up, you can do whatever you want with it. Nothing bad is going to happen, but we're going to talk about colors. We're going to talk about how interesting this is for kids to learn and also for adults. And what I'd like you to do is look at lines 18, 19, and 20. You'll see these words VAR. It just stands for variables. And the R, the G, and the B are going to stand for red, green, and blue. Right now, we have these set at 0. If I go ahead and play this program by clicking on the play button, you'll see this occur. You have a green background. I'll go ahead and play it again. And we have a CS Super Bloom. If you're not familiar with RGB, these are values that the computer generates for us so we can see color. So the 0 is the minimum, which means no color at all. And 255 means the color itself. So what I'd like you to do is, if you can participate by typing this chat, I'd like to ask someone to help out and, change this number from it being a constant of 0 to another number up to 255, anything between 0 to 255, and I'll change it, and then we'll play it and see what happens. And Kat, if you can let me know what somebody says, that would be great.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks, Art. I'm watching the question and answer portion. So someone throw out a number that you would like Art to try. I see Mark Landsberger said, it's going real quick. 120. Let's try 120.
120. Now I changed the R to 120. I'm going to press play, and look at that. We now have a variation in color, just red, because we only changed the R. So now let's change the G, the green. Can somebody throw out another number for me?
Another number, I see 200.
Okay, let's type 200. We'll press stop. And of course, you can be doing this on your computer at home too. And look at that. It didn't even look like anything happened because our background is green. It's just changing to complete green. Now, how about somebody pick a different number for me with a B for blue?
Okay, for B, there's a request for 90.
Let's try 90. And I'll press stop, and now I'll play. And again, I'm not getting, the green is really overwhelming the other two colors. Let me try something to maybe make that a little bit different. I'm going to try 20. For the green. And let's see what happens. Look at that. Now generation more of a color of purple. And so that's the mixture more of red with blue. Kids absolutely love this. And Kat, let me know how much, can I keep going, or is this something?
If you want to just show the random
Yes.
feature quickly, that would be awesome to kind of close us out.
Awesome. There is this random feature. If you click in front of the number yet placed for R, type in the word random, R-A-N-D-O-M, and then put a parenthesis before it, and then put a parenthesis right after it, and you press stop and play, that random will now generate different colors for you because it's selecting it between 0 and 120. And kids love this. They just get fascinated by it. I'm just going to throw in right now a number like 60 for the green, and you'll just see different colors appear. And you can do the blue on your own, but you can just randomize the colors and you can see the blooms more clearly. So I hope you learned something new. This is really fun. We have a great time doing this, and I'm really happy to be here and share this with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the Art with Art today. Thank you, Art, for being with us today. I'm going to go ahead and start again, because what I'd like to do, we're talking about growth. We're talking about the coming super bloom, which our keynote speaker, Ed, will be speaking about soon. But I want to talk a little bit about the story of computer science education in California, starting from the sprout, next to the seedling stage, the vegetating, budding, blooming, and finally the ripening stage, because it truly is a story of growth in California. So first of all, there was a sprout that became, so to speak, the seeds there were some great computer science teachers, both in all grade levels, that were doing some great work, have been teaching for many years. But we saw that there was a need. There were those that saw a need to further expand that. And so there was a coalition formed. It was formerly called Access. It's now called CS for CA, and they have partnered with us in this great work. They began in 2012 to advocate for computer science policy. You'll see the co-directors there, Julie Flappett and Allison Scott, and we appreciate all of the advocacy works that they do in order to continue to advocate for computer science education for our students. Next, there was a seedling. We grew into a seedling and really worked on recruiting students and teachers. And so computer science in 2014 was authorized to satisfy math requirements in high school for eligibility for CSU and UC admission. So that helped to entice more students to take computer science. The other thing that happened with credentialing was seeing the need to equip more teachers to be able to teach computer science. And so in 2016, a computer science supplemental authorization was created, which some of you may have, and that provides a new pathway for teachers to teach CS. Now, if you are teaching an integrated course, say in elementary or in any grade level, your credential should be fine, but this supplemental authorization is great for those standalone CS courses. And so that was yet another way that seedling started to grow in California. Next is the vegetating stage. And we had some publicly vetted standards that came out. Some of the people on this call were involved in that work and really helped to be on the focus group that guided that standards development. And then the advisory committee submitted those standards to the SBE. They were publicly vetted. Responses were made to the public comment, and those were adopted in 2018. So the state of California has California Computer Science Standards, and you'll see that one of the quotes from the introduction is that all students are to be given access to computer science instruction as a core subject. You as teachers are key to helping us take this vegetating stage and move forward. And we are so glad you are here. And we believe that you have the ability to do this. Some of you, as Art said, Art did not have a computer science background, and yet he provided some learning for us. And so in the budding stage, as far as implementation, the California Computer Science Strategic Implementation Plan came out and was adopted by State Board in 2019. Principle one of that is that every student and every teacher, that's all of you, is capable of learning computer science. And so the state of California, this implementation plan believes that you have the ability to build your capacity to teach computer science. And we are so glad you are here, regardless of what your experience level is. Also, in regards to implementation, the inaugural Summer of CS launched, and that was with the support of the Sacramento Office of Education and CS for CA. And so that was the first Summer of CS. And we are now moving into the blooming stage. We are building computer science education champions, teachers and administrators just like you that can continue to build the excitement and the capacity of others for computer science education for our students. So some things that happened was CDE, the California Department of Education, appointed a computer science coordinator. And this work that's happening currently with Summer of CS was thanks to a grant with the Educator Workforce Investment Grant that expanded the Summer of CS from 2019 to a year-long seasons of CS. And so now there is actually computer science education professional learning available to you that is grant funded, that is throughout the year, culminating in our Summer of CS, which we are kicking off today. So we will continue this work. We're at that blooming stage. We're just beginning. And Ed is going to talk a bit more about that. So I am going to now stop screen sharing because I would like to introduce Ed Campos Jr., an excellent computer science advocate and a friend of mine who has done some great work in computer science in education and also in industry as well. So Ed, when you're ready, go ahead and kick us off.
All right, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ed.
All right, so I cannot see anyone, but that's okay. We have, first of all, thank you all for having me here. I'm super excited to be here. And computer science is something, computer science and California are things that I'm very passionate about and I hold near and dear to my heart. So it's definitely a pleasure to be here. And I would love to spend some time here talking about our California roots to our CS Super Bloom. So I know that we have the chat disabled, but there will be a link dropped into the chat soon. And we're going to pivot because that's what we do when we have tools that computer science has built. And we encourage you to respond to questions that I'm going to prompt you with throughout the keynote in the chat, in the Padlet. So hopefully you're able to edit that. Maybe if I could get a yes or no from Kat. Kat, can you confirm that?
Yes,
Just if
the
people are able...
Padlet is in the chat, so everyone can definitely click on that and participate with you. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to get going. So for me, I mean, it's summertime. I know some of you all are finishing up your school years. Some have a week left, a couple weeks left, some are done. For me, summer is for road trips. So I'm really curious as to where are you looking to take a trip this summer? Please enter into that Padlet there. I'm excited personally. I think heading to Yosemite. I've been seeing some of the pictures of Yosemite recently and seeing our beautiful state, heading up to the Bay Area, maybe up to the far north to visit some of the redwoods. So I think it's really important to recharge. This job is not easy. and we have to decompress, we have to recharge, because a lot of our batteries are on empty right now. So we have to refill that bucket. And I cannot see the Padlet, but I'm assuming there are some beautiful things being shared in the
Yeah,
Padlet.
Ed, would you like me to share out some of the answers?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you,
I
Kat.
love this one. Someone said staycation. We've
Yeah.
got Big Bear. Someone else also did mention Yosemite. So absolutely. Vegas. We've got some Hawaii, Chicago, Peru.
Ooh,
Isti and Philly. I will be there. Hope to see
Hey.
see you there. Yeah. So
all right.
good answers there.
Thank you, Kat. I like this kind of back and forth. If we can keep this going, then you can be my eyes on that.
Absolutely, will do.
So I feel like I'm not going to say we've survived the drought, but we've been surviving the drought, and droughts in many a form. You know, I think we've gotten through the actual drought period, because I remember that it's just been crazy levels of Jumanji that we've been living through, with the drought from a few years back to the drought of human contact that we did not have for a little over 3 years, with the shutdowns. And just as the computer science perspective, I felt like when the world went on pause, we had this momentum building with CS, with CS for CA, with Scale, with the CDE Foundation, with all of these great, amazing county offices doing the work. And then it was a drought in opportunity, and there wasn't a lot of funding. There wasn't a lot of energy, to be honest. There was a drought of energy. So, but we've been surviving that, and we're seeing a turn right now, which is a nice, beautiful turn, because we're actually seeing this physical, literal, metaphorical super bloom in our beautiful state. Right, we have this California super bloom, right, which is a rare event. It doesn't happen that often. There's abundance of water, because all the water that we've gotten in this amazing state. We've seen the colorful diversity of the landscape, of the plants, of the flowers blooming up and down our state, from the deserts to the far north, to the redwoods. We see this transformation of the landscape, and it's just it's all about the perfect timing and the perfect opportunity. And I think that this is really, it's evident in our landscape, in our terrain, in this earth, in this land that the natives are the stewards of. But it's also, I think we're undergoing a CS super bloom in computer science, because of this windfall, now not just of water, but of the funding, of the EWIG grant, of the talent of the team that has been put together, ready, waiting for this. And now that the rain is falling, like it is falling, and we're all just kind of really enjoying this landscape. So, and I just have to highlight, I think Paulette Denellen is in the chat here, and she is a motivator for me. She works for Lego Education, and down near San Diego, and she has taken some beautiful pictures. If you're not following Paulette, please follow her. But these are some of her super bloom pictures. She motivates me to get on the road and travel and see some of the beauty that's out there. So shout out to Paulette. And what I would like to do for my keynote, this is going to be a little bit different of a keynote. So as we pivoted already, I would like for you all to join me on an epic CS Super Bloom road trip, if you don't mind. So would you all jump into my car? I don't know if I have enough seatbelts for everybody, but we'll do it like old school, you know what I mean? Like how we used to do back in your parents' cars. But we're going to take a trip up and down the state, and with me, let's keep adding to this Padlet that we're in right now. And if you have some songs, I'm a pretty good DJ, but I like to hand over DJ reins. Let's grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and then buckle up. So I'm going to assume that everybody is giving me the thumbs up, ready to take this road trip. No permission slip needed to be signed. You're all in, you're all of age. Let's go. And then Kat, when I'm playing this next video, can you let me know if you hear the video, if the video and the audio is playing?
Okay.
All right. So, and I didn't even click this because this was
Video.
actually,
Yeah, video, but no audio.
yeah, this one doesn't have audio. So this is actually on the 58, I believe. Getting when I was driving, actually taking a Super Bloom trip right here. So this is just to prep us and get us in the right mind state of the beautiful CS Super Bloom that we're gonna experience throughout our state. So let's go ahead. If you get a chance, we're gonna take our first stop in Kingsburg, California, which is close to me, and just off the 99. And I invite you to, while this song is playing, someone dropped a recommendation for the driver DJ. Drop, what is your favorite road trip snack? And there should be a column there for you to add that.
On
Let me
the
know-
road again.
Let me know if you hear that song.
Just
I hear
can't
it,
wait
Ed,
to
and I
get on the
see
road
some
again.
people want to turn it down a bit though.
The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get
I
on
see
the road
some people
again.
answering in the Padlet here, their favorite road trip snacks. We've got sunflower seeds, chili cheese Fritos,
Oh.
coffee and brownies.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. So go ahead and keep on.
Pistachios.
Oh, pistachio. So I'm gonna go with I gotta have some chicharrones for me. And I'm gonna go with some sunflower seeds. What about you, Kat?
I like Snickers bars, to be honest. A Snicker
Okay.
bar and or McDonald's fries and a strawberry milkshake. That's one of my
All
go-to.
right. See
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's key. You gotta have that key. So our first road trip, we took a little drive on the 99. I live in Tulare, just a little up the 99. And let's visit with my good friend Josh Woods, former coworker of mine. And I'd like to talk to him about his CS Super Bloom and what him and his students are doing.
My name's Josh Woods. I'm a computer science teacher at Kingsburg High School. I started my teaching career 18 years ago. I had been a graduate of Fresno State. I got my degree in computer science right around the time of the dot-com bubble burst. So I made a change in my career path and went into teaching, and I became a math teacher. After a number of years of teaching math, I was given the opportunity to teach computer science, and that reignited the passion I have for computer science. And then fast forward to where I'm at now. I was hired at my current position, my current district, 5 years ago. My admin said that there was a big need for computer science offerings at my school. And so they had me offer 2 computer science classes, two sections to start with. And since then, in the past 5 years, it's grown to 4 sections and looking to offer, additional classes. So I do offer a pathway of classes, an intro class, an AP Computer Science Principles class. The way that I see my impact as a computer science teacher is the way I want my students to think about computer science. So I want them to think about how computer science can affect them individually, but also how it affects people on a large scale. And so for myself, I want to have a positive effect on my students individually through teaching computer science, but also I want to be able to participate in the larger computer science education community. And so it's led me to do things like AP reading, piloting computer science curriculum, and being involved in PD like Summer of CS. So we have a computer club where students can explore college and career opportunities. My students compete in competitions, coding competitions, app development competitions, and also community involvement in a number of ways. And one of the key project-based learning assignments that I do is a work-based learning assignment where we partner with an outside organization, and my students take on the role of software developers, and they have a client that they're working for. So this past year, we partnered with a local nature preserve My students got to visit the nature preserve, get to hear from their clients about what the needs are of that nature preserve. And then the students were tasked with developing apps for the visitors of the nature preserve. It gives my students an opportunity to interact with in a professional way. And also it causes them to build empathy and look beyond themselves and really start to think about how computer science can be used to help solve other people's problems. They have to look at the needs of a user. It's allowed them to really take the expertise that they get in the computer science classes and be able to use that to serve the community in different ways. So one of the great things about having been teaching this long now is I'm starting to see my students who've graduated going on to college, majoring in computer science, even finishing and going into careers. And so it's really rewarding experience for me. This year alone, I think from our graduating class of about 150 students, there's at least 10 students that are majoring in computer science. Just this past week, I received a letter from MIT. One of my students was accepted to the computer science program at MIT. And it's not every day that a teacher like me gets a letter from MIT thanking them for preparing the student for the program. But that was a really rewarding experience.
So I just got to say, Josh Woods is amazing. So I think it's about 7% of the graduating class, he said, is majoring in computer science and went to MIT, just like in the Central Valley. I'm just going to say we have fertile soil. We've got a lot of CS Super Bloom happening. We're going to continue this road trip. So props to Josh Woods right there. And thank you for the inspiration. And my next question, as we continue, we're going to drive far north to Dunsmuir, California, and we're going to pop another song in the 8-track. I want to know, what roots or strengths do you bring to the table to cultivate your CS Super Bloom? So is it your background as a math educator, your project-based learning, your commitment to engagements, your culture? So type that into the Padlet and please share your strengths and your assets because we know you have them. And let's take a drive up north.
Awesome, Ed. You just turn down the music. Got some great strengths and roots that people are bringing to the table. We have a lot of people talking about how they're learners and they're curious. And so they're excited about bringing that to their students. Curiosity and playfulness. We've got some students that are really interested in equity. And so they're trying to make sure that there are girls more involved in technology and other underrepresented populations, which is excellent. Photography background and web design. So yeah, we've got some awesome, and there's so many more, but those are just a few of them.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. So just up the Holiday Road right here in Dunsmuir, we're going to hear from Heather O'Connor now. She's a preschool teacher for Dunsmuir Elementary, and let's hear about her Super Bloom story.
I'm Heather O'Connor. I am a preschool teacher at Dunsmuir Elementary School. I'm actually a state preschool attached to the elementary school, which is a K-8. I've been a teacher for 10 years and in the preschool for 5. I absolutely love it, but it's nice being a part of the elementary school because then I can get involved with the other students as well. They had a grant available for teaching coding in the after-school program a year ago, and they asked if I would spearhead that. So I had a lot of fun teaching in the after-school program, but it was just coding only, and the students who came were just the ones who were interested in it. So the groups varied day by day, but we did have a lot of fun. We all learned a lot. And by the end of that successful year, my principal came and said, hey, would you like to be the computer science teacher during the school hours? And So I said, sure, that sounds like a lot of fun. I go into the classrooms, K through 5th grade, and do pullouts with each of the groups for an hour. Each group has an hour for 1 day a week. And it's fun because they all are like, it's today computer science day. They're always excited that it's their day. I wanted to start off with coding. That was my strong suit beginning. And it also led into a lot of the other activities. So code.org was kind of my go-to because it was a very easy to use program. They all could work on the block building at their different levels, especially with the kindergartners because they didn't have a lot of reading skills yet. And we worked on building that knowledge, and then it led into other projects. So we did fun things like Spheros, and we did Dot and Dash, which are like robots that they can code. We even got into coding drones. Yeah, it takes a minute for it to do the things. Oh, nicely done, nicely done. Oh. And then with the 4th and 5th grade, we did NeuroMaker hands. And that is like a prosthetic hand that they actually had to build. So they had to do hardware stuff as well, like, all the chips and the electronics and things. And then, yep, they got to do the programming for it, which ended in a rock, paper, scissors competition, which was a ton of fun. And we also did hour of code night where we invited the parents to come and learn coding themselves, and we got to showcase all of the fun things that the kids have been working on. So yeah, it's been a great success all around. Everybody has had a wonderful time with it, and they're looking forward to doing next year as well.
Ooh, Heather O'Connor with kindergartners, elementary school students blooming with prosthetic hands and drones. What a beautiful thing. Up in the lush far north. So we're gonna keep this road trip going. Hope everybody's having fun so far. We got we may need to stop at a rest area. I think y'all been hydrating a little too much. So as we drive down to Redwood City to visit a friend of mine, I'd like you to respond in that Padlet. What is your CS Superbloom story you've heard from Heather and Josh? Or if you're just starting your CS Superbloom story, what do you dream it can be? What are you here for? What do you think? Like, I'm big into dreaming nowadays, and if you don't speak these dreams, they won't become a reality. So what do you want your CS Superbloom story to be? Let's go ahead, and we're going to be passing by Vallejo, so let's get a little appropriate music.
Ooh. Tell me when to go. 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 Tell me when to go.
All right.
All
So
right,
thank
Ed,
you.
we got some great dreams in here, I got to tell you. So we have some answers here about Superbloom's dreams or stories. We have a lot talking about access and all students having access to computer science. What a dream that is. I love that. I also see some things about integration and CS being embraced as a foundational knowledge and skill set as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Kat. I heard there, just to answer a question, someone said they're looking for how did I make these animations? This is a cell phone app called Travel Boast, BOAST, if you're interested. And then the music, I had to, go and dig into the crates for the music, but that's a little app smashing. I'm really excited to visit in Redwood City with one of my dear good friends, Mariana Hernandez, 8th grade math teacher from Redwood City. And I'm very excited to have you all hear her Super Bloom story and some of the amazing bloom that her students.
I'm Mariana Hernandez, and my CS Bloom story is I started out as an 8th grade math teacher, and I began my CS journey at a workshop similar to this one, where I was first introduced to computer science. I then have begun taking classes, and I've worked towards my CS credential. I know that sometimes it doesn't feel like it's the most exciting thing to do, and often you have a lot of work and challenges that face your way, but in the end it's really quite worth it, as I will now be teaching STEAM full-time next school year. As a computer science teacher, I have been an advocate of making sure that we have it accessible to all students. One of the key things that I have found this year is that my students who have IEPs or have goals that they need to meet are usually left out of the CS world. And I've been strongly advocating for them to be part of my classroom, and it's been great and wonderful to see them being able to fully participate, engage, and demonstrate their capabilities in the subject where usually they have been excluded from.
Awesome. So I just want to say Mariana is a little too humble. It's hard for amazing people to brag about themselves. So allow me to brag about my beautiful, amazing friend Mariana here. Her Super Bloom story that I've seen also, because as a math teacher, colleague, former math teacher, I've seen her grow from math teacher to computer science teacher / math teacher to now STEAM teacher, but also to Summer of CS presenter and instructor, right? The last 2 years. So this is a big part of the CS Super Bloom when we get into different leadership positions, right? And for a Latina, for a Chicana to be able to get into positions like this, and that our students need to see these examples. She's the way she cares about her students is evident, and is seeing as what her CS Super Bloom is. And so I just have to share another story. Is during distance learning one time, she was rocking it so well that she was like, hey, Ed, I got to let you know, I think I've taught myself out of a job. She goes, I'm in the Zoom and the kids don't need me. They're like sharing screens and debugging each other's code. And I'm just sitting here drinking my tea like Kermit the Frog. And I was like, that's pretty nice. I go, hey, record that for me. So she sent it to me. So Mariana's amazing. We're going to keep this road trip going. I hope you all are getting inspired by this, because I love hearing from these amazing people and these beautiful stories. Similar to taking a page from Mariana's inspiration, the question I want you to ponder as we get to our next leg of the road trip, as we head down to San Bernardino, California, I want you to think about the students that are in your garden, in your community, and the students that you're here for. And those students who have been marginalized, maybe, and that student that needs some hook, some engagement into school because they had not been engaged otherwise. And what conditions do they need are necessary for their Super Bloom, for them to come alive, for their brilliance to be on display. So let's go ahead and continue this going right here, and then I'll have Kat read some more out of the chat. And I'm not sure who picked this next song, but I think I like it.
Cause I'm rolling in my 6-4. With all the homies saying,
All right, great, thanks. So Ed, we've got some great answers here. We've got outcasts and those that are not athletes, maybe don't shine in other areas. Those are the students that we're here for. I'm also seeing, as far as conditions that are necessary, I'm seeing genuine excitement about math and problem solving. And I'm also seeing a lot about knowing that students actually have a future in computer science if they want to pursue it, that's something that they can do. So some great answers there, Ed.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Kat. So we're going to keep this going and hear a little bit from Dr. Sharissa Chan and talk about her Super Bloom story and some of what she's doing out in San Bernardino.
My name is Dr. Sharissa Chan, and I am currently a digital learning and computer science project specialist for San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. I have been in education for, almost 20 years now as a classroom teacher for most of my career. I've taught high school, art and humanities. I've also taught kindergarten, first grade, third, fourth, you name it, I've taught it almost kind of a thing. My CS Super Bloom story, I want to say the year was maybe like 2015. I was teaching a first grade class that year. Somebody came up to me and said, hey, do you want to do Hour of Code? And I was like, Hour of what? Like, no, I don't know what that is. And I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Who cares? I'm going to try it out. I was that teacher that was like, just give me something and I'll try anything anyways. It was scary because I didn't really know what it was, but I did it with my students. I actually coded alongside them during Hour of Code, and they loved it, and I saw their love for it. So I just kept going with it. And oddly enough, I had that same class I taught those first graders again when they were in third grade, and they begged me for more. They're, Mrs. Chan, we want more. We want more. Give us computer science. Popped around to different grade levels. And as I did, I would notice different things. So I taught fourth grade a little after that, and I noticed a lot of my girls were like, we can't code, this is for boys. And that for me was a red flag. I was like, oh, like I get it, because I was like, I can't do this, I've never seen it before. So I get where they were coming from, but I also took that as an opportunity for me to say, hey, well, why don't you try this? And I started getting involved with like the Girls Who Code clubs after school. So now fast forwarding into my current role, I've been able to work with educators. So now I support educators and administrators and just help them bring computer science education to the forefront of their work and show them how they could tie it into their day-to-day. And it leads me into something I'm really proud of here in San Bernardino County and Riverside County, who's also our partner. We were able to establish this professional learning network that started off with 15 folks, and now I think we're at about 70 people in our network. This happened over a time period of less than a year, this growth of people who are just like, hey, we want in on this. What you're doing is great. Microbit is actually one of our other partners. So Microbit Educational Foundation, we're really lucky to partner with them. So we've got 70 members who have some their own classes, some are coaches who work with other teachers. So the number of students that we're reaching with computer science education has just, talk about a super bloom. One other thing, which is our Innovation Day, which you notice in my background, it has Inland Empire Innovation Day. Inland Empire is San Bernardino County and Riverside County together. And the event was just having students work with their microbits and other accessories for social good. So they're using their own community, their grandmas, their grandpas, their aunties, uncles. Some of the students we saw were creating timers for their grandmas, saying, oh, my grandma forgot to take her medicine today. She really needs a reminder. We know that she has a cell phone, but she's not that good at using it. She's not super tech savvy, but we feel like this microbit, if we set a timer for them, will help them do this. And we'll even have a message displaying that says, grandma, don't forget to take your pills, or whatever it is. So we even had counters for students who are counting recyclable materials on their campus. Our campus needs to be cleaned up. That's some of the things that they shared with us. We're going to go out and count all the trash. We're going to have the microbit along with other accessories tally up how much trash is being thrown away. And it also is a way for our students to be like, hey, I'm more motivated to throw my trash away because I want to see what the microbit's going to do. Our Black and Brown students, we have high counts here. And these are the students who are historically underrepresented in computer science. And our commitment and our vision is to make sure that we're giving access to those students who don't have it. And luckily for us, that's what's been happening. And like I said, Super Bloom, it's been growing. It's like those hills after that crazy rain we've had lately with all those flowers blooming, and for us, all the poppies and everything. That's what it is. Our kids are those poppies, and it's just they're growing and they're flourishing and they're loving it. The girls are no longer saying, I can't do this. They're like, give us more.
That's beautiful, right? Dr. Chan, the girls are saying, give us some more. You got the aunties involved. The poppies are blooming. I love it when they call me big poppies. Also, we're going to we're going to drop another Padlet. This is going to be a different Padlet right here because this is we're pivoting Padlets. So this is called a Padlet pivot right here before we get in there. And I want you to respond in this Padlet. It should be a map. Drop a pin from where you're from with your city, state, zip code, and tell us a CS Super Bloom of your students that you're most proud of, because we want to see that. We've heard from some amazing educators up and down the state, but we know we have a couple hundred folks in here and we want to hear from you. So share your story as we take a trip. We're going to go down by the border, down to Indio, California.
All my friends know the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
All right, we took the low rider. I don't know if you noticed, but I swapped cars right there. So I want to hear from my buddy Ascension Reyes, aka Chon. I can't wait for you to hear about the amazing things that Chon's got going on down in Indio.
I'm Ascension Reyes, and I'm a technology resource teacher at De Anza Magnet School in El Centro, California. And I'm also the president of our local CSTA chapter. And I teach STEM, computer science, electives to 7th and 8th grade students here at my school. In addition, I'm the tech resource teacher for the whole school, and helping teachers with their technology needs, instructional technology needs, and trying to build more computer science and robotics in our school site. Our principal at that time wanted more robotics or CS, and I just kind of had to jump into it and started going to Barnes and Noble and checking out or buying books on computer science and robotics and things, and just learning everything that I could. And that's how I kind of jumped deeper in from an ed tech person, more deeper as a CS educator. My goal was to get CS in a more tangible way to our teachers. We decided to start doing something different. And what we did was we got robots in all the classrooms. We started with the girls' code night about, I want to say, almost 4 or 5 years ago, but we had to stop because of the pandemic. We needed to come up with a way to get the girls involved, because usually in my class, it was usually the boys who gravitated to the robots. But we wanted something where we could engage the girls, and not only the girls, but their moms or whoever, their tias, their grandmas. Again, took a hiatus, and then we decided we got to bring it back. So we did. About a month ago, we had our third annual Girls Can Code Night, and we had a full house. We had about 20 girls with their moms. Some girls came with their tias, and some came with their grandmas. And it's a way to not only cultivate CS with our girls, but also with our parents, because a lot of times our parents don't know about the whole realm of computer science. And we can make it relatable to them. They can see it as we show some videos about how CS is in a lot of industries and how it revolves around our lives. And then we move them into kind of doing some of the fun CS activities with some robotics. We used some Sphero, some Ollies. We did some dance party activities from code.org. Had some pizza, some sodas, and it was just a really fun night. And we do that. And it's interesting that after that, we get more parents inquiring, when can we have another one? When can we have another one? And we didn't only have girls and moms and tias and grandmas. We had teachers. We had about 5 teachers attend. So some of the girls' teachers, the girls who attended, their teachers actually came. So it's also a way to cultivate them too, to get them on board, to promote the growth but we want to really get that going in our area and see what can super bloom. And it would be interesting to see like an interactive map of all the super blooms that are happening in California. You know, after, you know, we can come back and check on this a couple of months from now and see where that bloom is happening all over the state.
So I like how Ascension set that up right there. That would be pretty interesting to come back with, but we don't need a couple of months. All we need is a Padlet and a link, and we can see this beautiful super bloom that's happening, right? So look at this amazing stuff that's happening up and down our state. We're about to get into Summer of CS kicking off. Thank you all for having me here and joining me on this road trip. I hope I got you all safely back home and you enjoyed it. The playlist, I made a mixtape for everybody. You've got that to take and remind you of the trip. Share the selfies, CS Super Bloom hashtag. Let's keep sharing it. And even though we don't have a chat, I hope you're really excited about the seasons of CS and your Super Bloom to continue this. Oh, and I kicked off. I'm going to stop sharing and get back into the other slide deck. There we go.
Ed, I want to thank you so much for sharing all those Super Bloom projects. It's great to see that the entire state is represented with this Super Bloom. There's so much growth happening. We are truly in that Super Bloom right now, which is so exciting. So we looked back at a bit of the past. We started with the seeds and the sprout all the way to that Super Bloom. And what we're really excited about is you are now part of that. You are going to help students, to all students, with that equitable approach, trying to make sure that students all have computer science as a foundational skill. And remember, what I loved about those stories, Ed, is that a lot of those teachers didn't start as computer scientists. They didn't start with the CS degree. They weren't in industry as a programmer. And yet they said, this is great for my students. This is making them excited. This is something that I can integrate into what I'm already teaching. And that really aligns to principle 1 of the implementation plan, that all students and teachers are capable of learning CS, right? And so I love those stories because I think they completely fit in with what we're trying to do. We love that. We love that you're part of this Super Bloom. You are part of our CS California Education Club now. Welcome. We are here to support you. The CS community is extremely helpful and supportive. What we're really looking forward to, we heard about the past. We heard a little bit about the present and the Super Bloom, which you're all going to be a part of. But what we're really excited about is the future, the ripening. What's that going to look like? How are we going to impact students? And then how is that going to impact our economy, our future? What problems can they solve with having computer science as a foundational skill, whether they become programmers or not? What will that new knowledge and resourcefulness help change our world for social justice? So I want to let you know that in the future, the Educator Workforce Investment Grant for 2023 has been awarded, and that tripled the funding that we used to start this Super Bloom. So the Seasons of CS is going to be expanding even more than it was this year. So we are so excited that this grant funding is going to support you in helping our students, and we can't wait to see that ripening of our students. We just can't wait to see how today's work that you're doing might impact the future. I just want to thank you all for being here. It was great to have all of you here. We welcome you to the club. We look forward to having some road trips. Perhaps they're virtual, perhaps they're in person, to see what Super Blooms you're doing. And we look forward to the future when we can see all this ripening happen as well. Thank you so much for everything that you do. We appreciate you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Enjoy your summer. Enjoy the summer of CS. Thank you all for riding.